Alright, this is take two. What's up, YouTube? This is Rue and or Chad of Sins of the Scales, and a couple things to get out of the way. I have some news. I know it's been forever and a day since I've done one of these types of videos, as I've, gradually gotten better at doing content on YouTube, but it was also my 23rd birthday on April 2nd, so yeah, now that I'm older and wiser, I guess I'm back, and I couldn't film at the house at the moment, so sorry about that. Just bear with me. I'm outside, as you can tell, but anyways, so another update is Sins of the Scales technically now has a bassist, except he needs to learn how to play bass, and I'm gradually teaching him, and he needs to buy a bass guitar and an amplifier and, whatever, I guess, effects we're going to use, and I gave him some of my sheet music, but he goes by Merrill the Red Kangaroo. I'm not going to give away his real name, because if his family sees this, then he's kind of screwed, because he no longer lives with his family. So, yeah, they have a grudge with him. He was telling me when we met a couple weeks ago at Guitar Center, and so that does remind me, so the early years should be out, I believe, tomorrow morning, with our first rehearsal demo and some, early years, just like early work of like some demo ideas, original and unoriginal material, kind of has how it's always been. So, yeah, and then Tears of the Dragon is going to basically be my goodbye to the early years indoor demo stages of Sins of the Scales. So once we find a drummer and, at least a singer as well, yeah, so basically that'll be the last, I guess, blueprint album or demo album in a sense, which will also have both originals and covers, or unoriginal material, whatever you want to call it, or yeah, technically, I have written songs, and I think my old songs will come back within, maybe even later this year or so, but if everything goes smoothly, but yeah, I think that just about does it. So anyways, without further ado, let's get into today's video. Underground, new / industrial metal bands / rock bands albums tier list ranking. I do have a bunch of CDs with me to kind of guide me along, I guess, but we'll start with Sins of the Scales. Obviously it's going to be an S tier for obvious reasons, so it is S through F tier list ranking, the usual deal. So yeah, and I'll just go along as I have the whatever CD or album is in front of me. So first we have Filter with Short Bus, which or next after Sins of the Scales. That's a B tier, so very nice, solid industrial rock / metal album, most famously known for their hit single Hey Man Nice Shot. Yeah, so if for some reason you haven't listened to this album, you should definitely do so. And then now we have Sister Machine Gun with The Torture Technique, and where did I put them? Sorry, Wind, Nature. They're a D+ because I actually did get my namesake from them, from the Sensitive Flesh 1992 album, which came out in 1992 originally, but yeah, I basically, again, told the story a million times. I just replaced Flesh with Scales, and then I figured that's a pretty cool untaken band name, so yeah. There you go. And then Powerman 5000, which, by the way, I am going to see this Thursday, or this week on Thursday. I'm seeing Powerman 5000, Edema, and Boy Hits Car. We'll get to Edema later. Don't worry. And Boy Hits Car, I have listened to their 2001 album. I'd probably put them at an A tier, to be honest. But I don't know. Like, we'll see how they are live. And then if I buy the CD there, or shirt, or whatever, I mean, whatever $50 can buy me, pretty much. Yeah, this is Mega Kung Fu Radio, so this is their 1997 album. And I put PM5K, which is obviously Powerman 5000, at a B tier. Mainly talking actually about their Tonight the Stars Revolt album, because that is my favorite by them, but either one of these, Mega Kung Fu Radio or TTSR, are really solid albums. And then, yeah, Sister Machine Gun, I was mentioning earlier, Sins of the Flesh is a pretty good album, and so is the Torture Technique. After that, they get a little weird, like Woohoo, but, I mean, those are solid, electro-industrial, rock, not really metal, but more so rock albums. Like, there's a very clear difference between, like, if an industrial album has no screaming on it, it's probably not metal. But, yeah. But yeah, if you listen to those two albums by SMG, you'll notice all, the influences I got from them as well, like sampling and all that. But moving on, we have The Hunger with Devil Thumbs a Ride, a very pretty obscure, so one of a couple industrial rock / metal bands from Texas that I am going to talk about today. The big single, kind of the big radio hit off of this one was Vanishing Cream, and I believe the video used to play on MTV back in 96, 90s. Actually, this album came out in 96, so yeah, although the whole album is really good, like particularly like tracks like Further and Love Me or Leave Me and Hellbent, and even Sex Thing is pretty good, to be honest. And I have them at where did I put Hunger? Sorry, I'm like looking at my list here, like yeah, they're B tier. So I have right here, they are definitely a B tier band and or album. Next, we have Mudvayne LD50. Should be obvious where this is going to go. Right into S tier, as I have written down here. So, yeah, I don't think I need to say very much about this album. It has influenced me so much throughout my life, and I love all the really good songwriting and everything. I love Chad Gray. I love, yeah, they did go by their stage names back then. Like, I have my stage name, Rue, but, or Motor Skill, Motor Rue, whatever. But, yeah. They're all really good, writers and or composers. So, yeah. If you haven't listened to this album before, I don't know what you're doing if you're watching this video. And yeah, I don't even need to really talk about it. Yeah, Mudvayne is S tier in my book. And they blend like so many different styles and subgenres too, kind of like my band or like Slipknot or Korn. Even Korn does that quite a bit. Like, like jazz influences, some like industrial electro stuff, some death metal, thrash metal, whatever, groove metal. Next, we have Dima, which is another one of the bands I'm going to see this Thursday evening. And I believe I put them at... This is their Unstable album, which is honestly better than their self-titled, which Stand Up is my favorite one off of this. They are A tier. A for Edema, A tier. And next we have Reveille with Bleed the Sky, which is, in my opinion, this is the better Reveille album than Laced, which is, they only really had 2 albums, but they did have some EPs and demos back in the late 90s. Again, another really overlooked, slept on nu metal band out of Boston. And I put them at A tier, of course. At least this album is A tier. I don't know, Lace might be B minus or something, but yeah. Next we have Addiction, Doubt the Dosage, a little Italian band, friends with Folder, which I will get to later as well. But this is an S tier album. I know a lot of you watching this probably have never heard of this band, but they are the shit, to put it lightly. And yeah, I did put them at... Indeed, I did put them at S tier. Where the hell did I write it, though? Yeah, Addiction, also known as Addiction Crew, or Addiction 96 for their first album. Next, we have Cell Dweller with his self-titled debut album. Again, definitely another S tier. My favorite being the Unlikely / Stay With Me, the normal version, and then the remix, which is Unlikely Stay With Me. But this whole, if you can buy this digipack of the deluxe edition of his debut album, it's definitely worth it. It's worth every penny, because like you get all the demo versions of, you know, beginning his Clayton's Cell Dweller project, and remixes and everything. But yeah, there is basically not a bad track on here. But yeah, like my favorites are Symbiont as well, and Frozen. And then the Deadlights, which is actually another Orange County band from Huntington Beach. And this is their sole self-titled album. I put them at B tier. Yeah, okay, yeah, this is my favorite song is actually, it's Time. Yeah, the second to last track. So yeah, you gotta basically listen to the whole album, except for the last 2 tracks, to get to, yeah, Time, which is one of the best, you know, alternative nu metal songs of all time, in my opinion. But there is not a bad song on this album. They're just not quite as good as Reveille. You know, point one. Where did I put down? Oh yeah, this is actually a underground Seattle new industrial act. yeah, I put them at B tier. My favorite song, still to this day, the first song I ever heard by them, TV. And then A Perfect Circle with their... Actually, this is the recent... This is my most recent CD collection edition. A Perfect Circle, Mary Gnomes, came out in 2000. Kind of a, honestly, like a stoner rock, alternative metal, industrial metal, you know, although it does still have new metal elements, it's not completely just like, it's not just like a rap rock album, because this is actually Maynard James Keenan's, one of his other bands besides Tool, which is actually, they are low-key better than Tool, to be honest. But, you know, if you're gonna listen to them stoned or drunk or whatever, you're still good. But yeah, if you know, you know. But anyways, this is Slaves on Dope with Inches from the Main Line. Actually, any of these albums are good wasted albums, I guess. You know, in other words, like, if you listen to it then while you're wasted, you're probably you're not gonna have a bad time, I will say. And then, actually, I haven't listened to this one in a long time, but I do like Fallout quite a bit. It's probably my favorite by them. And yeah, I put them at C tier. Blood and Batteries, another underground industrial rock band that incorporates emo. Actually, this came out in 2005, so this is like in the middle of the emo, you know, kind of like metalcore emo era. So you know, I guess they kind of just got with the times, and this is their only album. Like, this is a very obscure CD, so actually all these are somewhat obscure, but especially, like, you know, the foreign ones, and then yeah, like, you read the title of the video, I said they're all underground bands, quote unquote. But yeah, Blood and Batteries, A tier. Yeah. A lot of A-tier bands on this list. Psycho Stick, we couldn't think of a title. Famously known for their drinking song, Beer. Yeah, I put them at C tier. Very good, the best comedy core / nu metal band. Also still relatively underground, but yeah. And the next, actually, if you're wondering, why the hell do I have a hair metal band album and a nu metal tier list? Because glam metal influenced nu metal. Shocker. Same with the Red Hot Chili Peppers album, that obviously, like, funk rock / metal, you know, and Faith No More, that I'll get to in a minute. But yeah, where did I, at least for this era of Pantera, this particular album by them, C tier. Yeah, my favorite song being We'll Meet Again, which is kind of like the power ballad off of it, but it's still just a really Beautiful song with a beautiful guitar solo by the late great Dimebag Darrell. Rest in peace, and rest in peace, Vinnie Paul, of course. But yeah, like my band will probably cover that at some point and put our own new industrial spin on it and everything. Same with any other cover song that we may do or may not do. Alright, so this is actually the first band on the list, technically, which is Swift with B Tier. This is the only CD I could actually buy by them because they are from North Carolina and they're another indie, underground, new metal band. This is a really good album, but I actually like their Thoughts Are Thought album more, so if you're going to listen to them, go with that one first anyways, and then or you can go with Waging War. I mean, I don't really care, but Thoughts Are Thought is the better album by them in my opinion, with especially that, actually Feminine is my favorite song by them. And then next we have 5 Foot Thick, another Spokane, Washington underground rap rock, new metal, whatever band. So I put them in S tier because I actually do really like this album, and Full On is my favorite song off of it. Next we have another relatively obscure one. Actually, this one is almost as obscure as Point One, but a Typhoid Mary with New Strain. And I put them at but yeah, if you're gonna get into Typhoid Mary, definitely start with this album. Although the Symptoms album, their debut album Symptoms is really good as well. But I put this one at a D+, because I mean I do really love their guitar riffs and everything. They also have stoner metal, sludge metal influences like Acid Bath, which I will actually talk about, because sludge metal did have a big influence on some new metal bands. But Simon Says with Jumpstart, I put at C tier. Overall, this is a really solid album. Alright, I'm gonna speed it up a bit here, because the video is getting pretty long at this point. So Sugar Ray Floored, another Orange County band actually. So if you didn't know, Sugar Ray is from Orange County, now you do. But I put them at C tier. Next we have Faith No More, which I did mention a bit ago, with The Real Thing. And yeah, I did put them at C here. Then we have Videodrone with their, actually, which is technically the same band as Cradle of Thorns, which I will get to in a while. I put them at C tier, right next to Cradle of Thorns. Then next we have Switched with Subject to Change. I did put them at a B tier. Then we got Down the Sun with their self-titled album. Their only self-titled album, actually. I did put them at A tier. The wind is killing me. Alright, next we have DB9D9, which is another industrial rock kind of band from San Diego, actually. And this is just a compilation album that I made through Kunaki.com. Shout out to Kunaki.com. Yeah, so I put them at where the fuck did I put them? Yeah, C tier. They are a C tier band. And then Glitch, this is another Kunaki CD, but I'll put the link in the description and with all my socials as usual, etc. of the Kunaki website and everything. Glitch with Elements, very obscure underground Filipino industrial nu metal gothic band, very pretty Deftones influenced. Also very hip hop influenced. They have a very I don't know his name, but they do have a very good DJ. So I do love me some Glitch. Actually, I technically love all these bands, but I do really love this one. And yeah, I did put them at a B tier. They are a solid B tier band, with Flower being my favorite song by them, which is another one of my cover songs, I guess. But Frontline Assembly, put them at B tier. With Millennium, the Millennium album, which is actually also my favorite song by them. The first song I actually heard by them was Millennium, so yeah. And then Geek, another obscure ass one from Texas, with Grade School Boner. I feel weird saying that out loud, but they are a pretty unique band though. Actually, Unsure is my favorite track, the last track off the album, technically. Or the CD version, the streaming services version has the demo tracks. But yeah, C tier. Solid C tier band. Snot. Thy Beloved Snot. Also from California, with Get Some. Rest in peace, Lynn Strait. S tier, like S for Snot, with the box being my favorite off of that CD. So then Mini Machines on 9 from actually Sydney, not Melbourne. So ignore what this says on the back of this. Yeah. put them at C tier. Then we have Cradle of Thorns with Download This, which is another Baker's, the same band as Videodrone, just with a different name. And actually, Chris Coles of Edema did and or still does play. Actually, he plays in Edema now, but actually, I might meet him this Thursday. There's a chance I might meet him. I hope I do, but he's a really cool guy. Cradle of Thorns with Download This, and aka Videodrone, but when they were more of a nu metal band than an industrial band, they were Cradle of Thorns, at least on this album. But C tier. And actually, believe it or not, they were around before Korn. Actually, when John Davis was in Sextart, he worked with Ty Elam, so who was also the frontman of Cradle of Thorns and VD or Videodrone. Ministry with Psalm 69, another very influential band in general. They are in A tier. Solid A tier. With Scarecrow actually being my favorite by them. And then Acid Bath. Actually, I chose this album because I actually like it more than I do love When the Kite String Pops. But this one is just better, in my opinion, which is Pagan Terrorism Tactics, which came out in 1996. And I did put them at S, the best sludge metal band. So yeah. And then Pagan Love Song still being my favorite by them. So yeah, and then Pigmata, British Industrial Act. He has worked with KMFDM before, so he is a pretty big name in that scene. Raymond Watts. And I put them at B tier. At the very least, this album is definitely B tier. But yeah, Primer 55. Another just straight up nu metal bands. I mean, they don't really deviate too much outside of nu metal, to be honest. But Primer 55 is C tier. With Introduction Mayhem. And yep, moving right along, we have Unit 187 with the Loaded album, which came out in 1998, and Riz Fulber of X Frontline Assembly and Jed Simon, both X Frontline Assembly. This is their other project. Kind of like how Griffin Taylor of actually, so there's like a few other, like other side project bands, like Griffin Taylor of, who is Corey Taylor's son, has Vended, which I will get to in a moment. But yeah, so another side project band, which I actually like. I like this album more than Millennium by Frontline Assembly, especially the title track, and then Dead Dogs is really good, and then Shapeshifter, which is probably my favorite, and they are an A tier band. Then I have Machines of Loving Grace with Concentration, another more underground industrial act, and I did put them this album has the biggest single off of this album is Butterfly Wings, and I can just find it. Huh. It's taking me... Yeah, I put them at A tier. Sorry, that took like 10 years, but yeah. They are an A tier band. Guess that this proves how obscure they are. But, you know, when this album is on, it's the best album ever. So, I mean, take what you will, do what you will with that information. Acumen Nation, I believe another S tier band. Yep, I did put them at S tier. And start with this album. If you're going to listen to this band, start with getting into them. Transmissions from Evil. Just trust me. Just trust bro. There is not a bad song on this album, but I gotta say my favorite is still Chameleon Skin. Track 9. Alright, we are almost done, so we're on the last bag here of CDs. So we have Skin Lab with Disembody, The New Flesh, which they were still more of a groove metal band, but they got more new metal with the 2002 Revolting Room, which is actually the slightly better album than this one, but still just a fucking badass metal band. So yeah, if you want like basically a better version of Machine Head from the same area, they're a Bay Area. Yep, they're more, you know, big Bay Area bashers. Where did I rank them? So yeah, they're a more like heavier Machine Head, basically, with kind of more like stoner and or industrial, etc. influences. And I did put them at C tier. They Skin Lab is the epitome of a C tier band. That's all you need to know. And then Number One Sun, the majority of one another obscure British act. Got a few British and or Australian bands here, but my favorite song off of this one being Inside I Divide, and I put them at B tier. Alright, next we have Shorty from Sacramento, California. Probably the most Deftones influenced band on this list, but this is their Wipe Their Eyes album, and I really love their Washing You Drown album as well. And I put Shorty at a pretty solid Yeah, they're an A tier. A tier band again. I think most of these are A tier, in my opinion. But yeah, Dope with American Apathy. New York new metal. New York new/industrial metal band. I've talked about them many times before on this channel, but I put them. This is American Apathy, which is arguably, in my opinion, their best album. Yeah, they're an A tier. A tier. And then American Head Charge with The Feeding, which is their 2005 album after The War of Art. The War of Art is somewhat better, but if you really want to get into them, listen to this one, and also Trepanation, which is on YouTube. You can't really find the CD of Trepanation anywhere, unless you make your own on Kunaki, kind of like I said before. But yeah, their CDs are all relatively expensive, but they are, as of recently this year, back on Spotify, so you can find this one and The War of Art on Spotify. And I put American Head Charge, otherwise known as AHC, on they're an A+ tier band, because I do really love them, but they're not quite S tier. And then same with Chimera, just another one of my most influential bands. Passed Out of Existence, which is really honestly the only album that matters by them. I mean, The Impossibility of Reason is great still, although it just kind of falls kind of short compared to Pass. But and their 2000 EP, This Present Darkness, very fucking badass groove metal, death metal, new metal album. But this is when they start going more industrial and just, more insane, I guess. But yeah, heavier and everything. But that reminds me, I do not have Nerve. Unfortunately, I do not have Nerve Pitch on here. I don't know why I forgot about them. But Nerve Pitch would be another S tier band. Basically their only album, again, other than their 2000 EP. Or actually, I think it was like 98. And then, yeah, My Somber Existence came out in 2003. But yeah, the greatest Canadian new metal band, Nerve Pitch, with Stitches still being my favorite by them. Which I actually do have the CD, but it's another, it's kind of a bootleg copy from the fine folks at Kunaki in Nevada, Sparks, Nevada. But yeah, Spine Shank with The Height of Callousness, another Los Angeles band. Spine Shank. Yeah, they're an A+ tier band again. And then I would actually put another band from actually a suburb of Los Angeles, if I remember correctly, Stepa. I do have their self-titled album on CD as well, but Stepa is another B tier band if you want to go listen to them as well. But yeah, before we get too off track, we have Red Hot Chili Peppers, Uplift Mofo Party Plan with the infamous Behind the Sun. which I covered on bass a while back. But yeah, B tier. Again, very influential for the new metal scene. As influential as Faith No More, because they're, funkadelic, hip-hop, funk metal, whatever you want to call it. Headplate with Delicate, a Swedish act, most famously known for their Jump the Bridge single, but I did put them... Yeah, I did put them at A tier. I specifically remember putting them in A tier because they are not quite S tier, because their more heavier songs are really good, but they kind of, they fall flat a little bit with their more softer ones, like Drifting Away. Drifting Away is still a good song, but it just, it's a bit of a snoozer. So, yeah, leans more towards the alternative side of nu metal. But there is not a bad song on this album. Again, there's none of these albums are bad. But Vended, with their self-titled album, which is Griffin Taylor's band, I said earlier, they are in A tier, with Serenity being my favorite by them. And then we have 20 Dead Flower Children. They are... So, little history behind 20 Dead. So, they relocated from Detroit, Michigan to Huntington Beach, California to record and put out this album on Overcore Records. So I did put them out. Yeah, they are S tier. This album is solid S tier. Just trust me. And then Tunnel Vision is my favorite. Although there is not a second of bad music on this album, to be honest. Then we have Bile Techno Horror, which is probably the best industrial album probably to listen to while you're out of it, wasted. But Lowest Form is still my favorite off of this album, which is, again, another obscure underground industrial. Actually, they are kind of new metal. They do lean towards nu metal, but they're more industrial than anything. Like on Sexual Flex, they have, the drop B guitars and everything. But actually, this album is pretty much all in drop B as well. But S tier. Yep. Go Christoph of Bile. And then we have another, actually this album influenced my snare drum tone on my debut EP and the Kibble single, and also kind of the alternate versions of the other all original instrumental singles. So yeah, that's, that reverby kind of gunshot snare tone I got from these guys. So yeah, that is for sure. And then also our some of our chainsaw guitar tones, etc., samples and whatnot. And then crossbreed with KE 101. With Hollow is my favorite track off of it. It was a single as well, but Crossbreed, yeah, B tier. Definitely another B tier band. And then we have Folder with Keep the Flow. This is the original 2001 Italian version. basically as S tier as it gets, the best band out of Italy, in my opinion. But I did put them at S tier. Folder, if I can find it on the damn list. Yeah, I did put them in S tier. So yeah, definitely an S tier band. Normality is my favorite track off of it. Alright, we are almost done. I'm sorry it's almost been an hour, but yeah, I am I'm feeling it now. Trust me, I'm trying to get this over with as quickly as possible. But the God Bombs with Godhead. Yeah, actually A tier. Also because I love the Ghost in the Machine single, which I believe is taken from the iRobot movie, the 2004 sci-fi movie with Will Smith, when actually Will Smith was still well respected, I guess. But yeah, yeah, also I do know Justin Symbol personally, and yeah, like I've talked to him on Instagram. They're very approachable. They also moved from New York to Los Angeles, and then they actually he did tell me he's in Orange County now, but I do hope to see them live in the future because they do put on really good shows. But yeah, he's really they've done really well for themselves. So yeah, it would be an honor to cover their songs eventually as well, but especially Ghosts in the Machine. Another person I really like to meet, but even though, yeah, I know it looks menacing at first, but you know, they're also influenced by like Manson and Marilyn Manson and Orgy, etc. But Screw, another industrial metal band, 100% a metal band from Texas, with the Shadow of Doubt 1996 album, which is still my favorite, and then Knotted Twig is an absolute banger. I have played it on guitar. I want to cover it on our debut album when we have a real band lineup. So full band lineup anyway. So I did put Screw. Probably, yeah, the most, again, another extremely underrated band. C minus. They are really good, but they fall flat sometimes. But like like She Said and Knotted Twig are the best songs off of this album. Absolute blistering riffs and really cool keyboard and sampling, synth programming, etc. Then we have Seo Taiji, Korean act, also known as the King of K-pop, who is also the King of K-rock, and he went completely new metal for this album. And Ultramania, both the studio version and the live version, are my favorites. This is his 2002 ETP Fest live. Yeah, the Ultramania album remastered plus the live tracks, and then the bonus DVD. And this, yeah, very hard to find. I was extremely lucky. And then same with this one, Super Heist. And actually, yeah, we do plan on making some kind of cover and or original influenced by the Ultramania song. But yeah, and then as it usually goes with most bands, but yeah, you know, you hear one thing, then you make it your own, and then you have your own song. Yeah. Which, yeah, I feel like though people still will respect you way more for your original material, but in any case, Super Heist. Shout out to Atticus. By the way, he's not in the band, but he is a friend, and I do dedicate the Check Your Head Up song personally to Atticus, who is a friend who runs the OutClaws Podcast server on Discord. I have another update. I will be taking part. I'll be the guest on the Season 2, Episode 5 episode for Darkness of Dragons. That'll be coming out. It's supposed to be out in mid-October. We're going to be recording it, like, I think October 10th or something like that. He was telling me. He doesn't know the exact date, but yeah. So I will post that link in the description as well of the OutClaws podcast. And now we have another new metal act, Sunk Loto, which Make You Feel is still my favorite off of this one. I don't like this one as much. I do like them now equally as much as Super Heist. But, I mean, some of their songs are better than others. I mean, same with Super Heist. But, I did put them, like, this album is really solid. If you're going to get into them, listen to this one in their 2000 EP. Which I can't remember the name of, but yeah, Big Picture Lies, and then like The Price Recruit by Super Heist. You know, if you really want to get into Super Heist, listen to that one. And then if you really want to get into Sunk Loto, definitely listen to this album. But I do have The Price Recruit on CD. I did a whole video reviewing it, so if you can find it, go check that out. Sunk Loto, A tier AF band. And actually, that's it. Although I do have, this is Trepanation that I mentioned earlier. But alright, that's pretty much the video. I'll be posting all the links in the description to my personal Discord and the OutClaws podcast, the Sins of the Scales Spotify link, all my usual stuff, and then also Atticus's OutClaws podcast Spotify link, which is also on YouTube. I will be sending out to y'all the YouTube version of Season 2 of Episode 5, because it will feature my Rue Sand/Nightwing hybrid dragon Sona. He'll be wearing the aviators, and he'll be wearing the Kibble earring in that episode, and I will be appearing in the Legends Darkstalker episode, so he'll be wearing his normal ruby one for that. But and then like my hairstyle is reminiscent. I just to say it lightly, it's reminiscent of a Sandwing or a Sand Kingdom Sandwing hybrid, Nightwing whatever, you know. You could just say my hair kind of looks like a dragon, but yeah, it's kind of based off of my Sona somewhat. It's the similar colors as well. But, alright. I should end the video now. So, thanks you all so much for watching. I know it kind of dragged on. Funny as hell. Drag on sounds like dragon. But, thanks you all so much for watching. All links are in the description. This is Rue signing out. Happy Memorial Day. Cheers. Whatever you're doing. Thanks. Gotta run. Bye. Like, subscribe, comment, whatever you want to do. Bye. Thanks for watching so much.